All right, is everyone ready? Okay. We are going to provide our 13th media briefing since the tornado disaster happened today. As Rasmus communicated with everyone, we are going to provide continued updates on social media. The next briefing, if not announced by the mayor's office, will be again on Tuesday. That will again be communicated by the mayor's office. Even though we're not providing a daily briefing, those continued updates will be put out on the city's social media accounts through the Joint Information Center, which is part of our Emergency Operations Center. Today, Kara Spencer, Mayor, will provide an update along with of Metropolitan St. Louis. As you can see, a lot of traffic here because they're at the heart of North St. Louis and the continued recovery efforts that are happening here. We will get an update from Ameren. Ameren has more great news to share regarding power restoration. We will then get an update from the Alderwoman, and then we will hear from the Congressman as we continue to try and bring federal resources to St. Louis for our recovery efforts. But in the meantime, we will bring in Mayor Kara Spencer.
Thank you, Mitch. Thank you all for being here. A couple of quick updates here. We've been getting a lot of questions about the National Guard. I want to let you all know that as of yesterday, we formalized a request to activate the National Guard here in St. Louis on a couple of key missions that I think will be really helpful. They're purely humanitarian in nature. They will help us, if awarded here, to help with logistics and some other things like debris removal. I want to mention that Governor Kehoe has been a key partner in this. We've been in communication on a regular basis, and if there is a way that this can work, I have confidence that will happen if it can work out for the National Guard. Debris removal, this is an enormous component of the work we're doing right now. The city launched a massive effort to clear debris and restore access to affected neighborhoods. In just the first week, we were able to clear all roads and alleys and make them passable. Just an enormous effort on the part of our parks and other partners here. And I just want to thank everyone involved. Truly, truly incredible that now all streets and alleys are accessible. If you have identified one that isn't accessible, please let us know. We'll work to get that accessible immediately. We're grateful to the private contractors who have volunteered their time and equipment. We have, on the city's end, we have 25 front loaders and 35 dump trucks that have been hard at work, and we have doubled that with private contractors who are donating both their time and their equipment to this effort to remove debris. Just an enormous effort here. The city crews have been working around the clock 8 consecutive days now. And as you can see, as you're driving and walking around the community, they're still hard at work today, but given that we have a long holiday weekend here, we are asking that our crews take a break tomorrow and Monday to recharge and refresh, and we do ask that our volunteers, the volunteers in the community, really try to do the same. We need you for the long haul here, and we want to make sure everyone is getting some rest. Electrical disconnection, we have been hearing a lot of concerns about what's happening with houses with red stickers on them. As we have moved to evaluate all the houses in the affected area, we had planned on getting all those evaluations done by end of day today. We are almost there. I think we may fall a little bit short. Please hold with us on that. I think as of this morning, we had completed 3,400 evaluations, just an enormous effort, but we may still have a few left at the end of this. As it's panning out, about a third have been deemed red. That is the structurally dangerous housing units. Yellow is the moderate, and the green are good to go. It's about a third right now, and we have taken the steps to ask Ameren to disconnect those houses that are on the red list. We know this is heartbreaking and adding trauma to an already traumatic scenario here, but we recognize that it's dangerous to have electricity on those structurally unsound buildings. We want to make sure we're keeping the community as safe as possible. We've already battled some fires here this morning, and we want to make sure we're keeping that further incidents down to a minimum. So we have asked Ameren to disconnect those houses that are deemed structurally unstable, and they have been compliant. We're grateful for that. We know it's hard on everyone, but we thank you for your patience as we make sure that our neighborhoods are as safe as possibly can be. Traffic lights. Our streets. Thank you. On the traffic lights, our street departments have been hard at work, street and lighting, to get our lights up and running. As of this morning, I am incredibly proud to say we are down to just 7 that need work, and our light crews remain on scene. We're fixing lights just up the street as we speak to continue to make our streets as safe as possible. Portable toilets. This is another area of really high critical need, and we are working to ensure that we have as many as possible. We know what we have out there is not enough, and we are currently working to mobilize to make sure that we have even more out and available for the community. And lastly, I'll just say on the public safety side, I want to just commend our first responders for continuing to keep this community, our communities, as safe as possible through. We are going to continue with the curfew. I know there's going to be some adjustments to that moving forward, but it's been very effective. I have to commend not only our first responders, but our community. Folks have really rallied to make sure that we're keeping our communities as safe as possible. Thank you for that effort. I'd like to bring up Mike McMillan. A huge shout out to the Urban League behind us, who has mobilized as of Saturday morning, just right off the bat, to be an incredible resource to the community. Continue to see the lines behind us. What a tremendous effort Urban League has lent to this cause, to be a leader here right off the bat, serving the community. Thank you so much. I know the community is just so grateful.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, thank you, Mayor. On behalf of the Urban League, we want to pledge to you that we will do any and everything that we can to be of aid, just like we did during COVID. So this large-scale distribution that you see behind us that is serving 3,000 people today, we will do those every Saturday for the next 3 weeks. We will also be here at the headquarters to provide food, toiletries, cleaning supplies, wood, tarp, and other resources to the community. We're partnering with the Red Cross on providing direct financial assistance. Information will be given out regarding that as well. I want to thank our city response, which has been very, very positive, the state, the federal government, but most importantly, all the people of St. Louis, because obviously a week ago, we did not know that such a tragedy would take place, and yet we have already had 500 plus people come volunteer today. We've had 1,000 to come throughout the week. People as far as Washington State giving back, making a difference, helping others. And so we're going to be here for the long term. We pledge to you that we will do any and everything we can for the immediate, for individuals who are staying in homes that are not safe and have nowhere to go. I want you to call the Urban League at 314-615-3600 if you need temporary housing in hotels. We have worked out a relationship with several of our hotel partners that we can put people in hotels, because as we have gone out door to door, some of these roofs and some of these walls are about to collapse on homes where seniors, disabled, and other people that have nowhere else to go can actually come to the Urban League, get assistance, and we will then put you into a hotel, give you food. We have clothing. We're trying to give everything that we can to people that have lost everything. So if you wish to volunteer, we would love to have you, because we need it, and we are trying to do everything that we can for the community, and we appreciate our media friends for getting out the word so that everyone knows the resources that are there. Thank you.
I think next we're going to invite up Aaron to give an update.
Thank you, Mayor. This morning, we'd like to say, first of all, thank you to all the city and all the city departments, all the first responder groups that helped Ameren get in, and we kind of had to be the tip of the spear to make everything safe for other groups to get in. But now that we're coming close to restoring all restorable customers, which we plan to have done by end of day tomorrow, Ameren will be stepping back and pulling back, collapsing some of our staging sites, in order to make room for some of these other groups to get in and utilize some of those same sites to set up their staging efforts. But Ameren will continue to be in the area because we will now support these groups that help support us while we were doing our work. We'll take on more of a supportive role back in these groups and doing whatever they need us to do in order for them to complete their work. But we do want to give a big shout out to everyone that has contributed. And as of this very hour, we're down to just over 1,600 that are yet without power that we're planning to try to get restored by end of the day tomorrow. And you will see, if you look on our site, you'll see our numbers go up and down. That's because we're starting to get other outages come in from customers that had to make repairs, and now they made their repairs and they're calling back in saying they're ready for service. So you'll see some fluctuating in those numbers on the website, but we're staying with it. Ameren's going to be here to the end until everything is done. We yet have other work to do in the area as part of this, but the major work is done to where we can step back and schedule that other work in conjunction with the other recovery efforts that are going on. And so Ameren's going to continue to be here, continue to support this effort.
And I think we'd like to bring up Alderwoman Clark Hubbard, whose area is just right here and so traumatically impacted.
Thank you, Mayor Spencer. My name is Shamim Clark Hubbard. I serve as Alderwoman in the 10th Ward. The 10th Ward has 8 neighborhoods, and all 8 neighborhoods were impacted by the path of this tornado. So from Clayton Road and Skinker for me down to Taylor and Martin Luther King. And what I see when I'm on the ground is a disparity in the response, but what I feel as an alderperson, as an elected official with other elected officials here, starting with our Congressman, Wesley Bell, Mayor Spencer, Senator right here, Carla May, and we even have electeds here from in the county, is a response that we can work together and answer the calls. Every call that I have put through to Mayor Spencer, to Ameren, to our first responders, chiefs, every call that I have put through has been answered. Every need that has come to me has been met. But we know this is not an equitable way to do this. So one of the things that I wanted to stand here after I echo the gratitude to Ameren, after I echo the gratitude to our elected officials and our first responders, is to put out a call to our constituents to please make sure you're reporting your needs correctly, right? Not just going back and forth on social media, not getting into the people that can really solve the issue for you, because we are all standing here united and ready to help you all. This is absolutely going to take longer than this 8 days that we've been in now, but I don't have any doubt that anyone in position here is not going to be standing in support and in the gaps as we move our communities forward. So I thank you all as the media, as my last thanks, right? For getting this message out, to make sure that we get facts out, right? To make sure we educate and inform people on how they can meet their needs. You just got one right here today, hotel, housing assistance. You all have one of the most important roles, because you can defute a lot of the misinformation that's on social media and a lot of the misinformation that's spread. And so that we can keep the fear down and keep the hope up. So thank you all for everything you all have done, and I will continue to stand where I've been on the ground, because Freeman Bosley Sr. and Jr. both told me you can't fall off the ground.
Good afternoon. I want to give a quick update on resources on the federal side, because we want to make sure we're clearing up any questions that people may have. There are 2 types of declarations: an emergency declaration and a major disaster declaration. The emergency declaration is more for those immediate needs after a disaster, to save property, to save people, and things of that nature. The major disaster declaration expands much more of the resources that we can bring to bear. And I can tell you right now, the resources that we can bring to bear in the major disaster declaration from the federal side are enormous. So it's important that we're working together as a not only locally, state, but on the federal level, to bring that pressure to make certain that that emergency declaration is authorized. And it is in the discretion of the president And so let me be clear, there are certain FEMA recommendations with respect to damage per capita that FEMA recommends when determining whether or not a declaration should be determined. But at the end of the day, it is the discretion of the president, and that's why it's so important that we have a united delegation and a united region, for that matter, putting pressure on the administration to do the right thing, and that's exactly what we're doing. The preliminary damage assessment has been completed. It'll be submitted. But at the end of the day, whatever that damage assessment says, which we know will be above FEMA's recommendations, but whether it is or not, it is still the discretion of the president. And so that's why we got to put that pressure and work together on both sides of the aisle to bring that to bear. So it's really important that we are united, because there's a lot of other areas where these kind of tragedies happen more often. And when I talk to my colleagues in those particular regions and on the coast in Alabama, that's the first thing they say is everyone needs to be united. It's a lot easier to walk away and help a region that is united when we got people that are pointing fingers and trying to play the blame game. There's time for that. We can do that later if you need to. Right now, we need to come together. That's what you're seeing. We're working together, and that's how we're going to move this region forward. So I want to, again, shout out all of our city workers, our first responders, law enforcement, fire department workers that are working round the clock and have been doing so since the beginning. Our alderpersons that are working hard, our state and local, our mayors, our mayor and mayors who are here represented, but everyone on the state level, from our governor, from our federal officials, everybody is working, because that's how we're going to not only clean up, but build up this region, starting with North St. Louis. So thank you.
With that, we're going to open it up to some questions. As we've been going, we've kind of catched a rhythm to these, so we'll just kind of go in order so that way everybody's not yelling and speaking over each other. Elliot, should we start with you as
Yes.
we have done?
Thank you.
Customary? Okay.
Mayor, are you having city workers go house to house to check on the welfare of residents? The reason why I asked is I interviewed Gwen Hutchins yesterday, who pitched a tent next to her falling down house. Her house has collapsed. She doesn't have a porta potty. You brought that up.
Yeah.
When can she expect to have
a porta potty.
a porta potty? I sent that information to your office.
Did you? Thank you. Thank you for that, Elliot. Right now, our office and the entire EOC, the Emergency Command Center, the staff that we've assembled to really address the long-term needs have been focused on the immediate safety and well-being of the community, getting all those evaluations. The humanitarian component here is really the next phase, and we are partnering with other organizations that can, best assess the needs of our residents. Right now, a lot of the hubs are intake stations as well, assessing needs of folks that are coming in for assistance. We have not begun the city staff door-to-door component of checking on the well-being. We've been focused on the building and the structural issues of the community first. As I mentioned, we had a target of finishing that today. We're going to come up a little shy of that, I believe, based on projections of where we were as of this morning, but we will continue to do that. And once we get that completed, we'll be able to more broadly and systematically assess the needs of the broader community. And that's important to do, and we are doing it, but the structural component was really the focus of the effort so far, as we make sure that we have a real comprehensive understanding of the financial impact, so we can go ahead and get those federal pieces, those components moving.
When can people like her expect a porta potty, for example?
We, like I mentioned, we have distributed somewhere close to 100 porta potties. We know that's not enough. We have had a lot of folks on the ground helping with the distribution, donating porta potties. We've been organizing it so that the distribution can be equitable and where the need is. We're still finalizing that. We do know there's more need, and we are working on getting more of those distributed. What we don't want to have is unaccounted for porta potties, because that could lead to a real public health concern. So we're asking that they be centralized through us so that we can remove them, track them, and ensure that we are keeping handle of the human waste associated with the porta potties.
Representative Bell, since you're so close to the FEMA process right now, Can you talk about, when we talk about meeting a threshold when it comes to things like trailers, right? Trailers or porta potties, because we know there are going to be people that are not going to be able to return to their homes. That's just the name of the game. So will that assistance open up the opportunity to provide more things like that out of what we can control right now?
If the emergency, or not the emergency, but the major disaster declaration is in fact authorized as we believe it should, and I want to, and I'm being careful with my words because I am not going to be confident until resources are in hand and the check is cashed. If those resources are unlocked through that major disaster declaration, then individual assistance will be available for things such as that, for housing, for things like childcare, for car rentals. All those things will be on the table at that point. And so there was a declaration that was authorized, and some folks are wondering how that's going to impact the city. Unfortunately, for the city, that was for the March 15th, March 14th, and March 15th declarations, and it is allocated by county. And so because the city and the county are separate, those resources will not be available for the city as far as our understanding goes. And so now what we're hoping is that this authorization will happen quickly. We know I've talked to our senators, we've talked to FEMA, we've asked the FEMA interim director to come here. Our office actually asked him to be here so he can see what's going on firsthand, but it unlocks a tremendous amount of resources. Now that said, and I appreciate this question, because those resources, even if we get them, will exhaust, and at that point, we'll have to implement a supplemental bill that we'll have to put on the floor, which our office is already working on in anticipation of that, because the bottom line is there are disasters going on all over the place, all over this country. And at the end of the day, national media is going to go away and we're going to be here. And so we're here to the end, the build up and beyond, because this is going to be a long-term fix. It's not going to happen overnight, but I can tell you the folks behind me and folks in this region, we are here to the end and for the cleanup, for the build up and beyond.
Congressman, are you satisfied with the federal response so far?
No, I'm not satisfied until resources are in hand, until the folks that are in need get the resources they need. I'm not going to be satisfied. I also saw some folks who were living in a tent next to their home that was destroyed. And so, yeah, I understand that things take a while sometimes, and the federal government, which I'm representing, doesn't always work as fast as we like, but we need to get moving. We don't have time to waste. And so even when that declaration is authorized, I still won't be satisfied. When this cleanup happens, I'll be more satisfied, but I won't be satisfied. We got to get these resources, get this region cleaned up and built up, and then we can start considering whether or not we're satisfied. Thank you, Ellie.
All right, post-dispatch.
I will just say real quickly on that front, it is the governor who makes the ask of the president. Governor Kehoe, picked up the phone within an hour of the tornado hitting ground. When I called him, he got on a plane, was here first thing Saturday morning, took a tour. He has been here twice with us, and he is very strongly committed to making sure that St. Louis gets the help we need. And I have to thank Congressman Bell for pointing out that it is this collaboration that is going to make this work. And we have a very unique scenario here in which across political boundaries, we have every member of our elected official contingency aligned, lockstep on this, from the governor to our senators, Senator Hawley, Senator Schmidt. Everybody has been here aligned on this, and that is an incredible feat. It's an incredible testament to the need that we have here and to the will of St. Louis as a whole.
I have two following on that. When do you anticipate to hear back from the governor regarding the
National Guard?
Yeah.
We submitted that formal request yesterday. I was in communication with him throughout this process. Again last night. We do anticipate this moving as quickly as possible. We had a second I do anticipate an answer as soon as possible. I will say that.
Okay, changing subject. Sticker system. You said city is issuing red yellow, and green.
That's correct.
There are orange stickers out in the community. What
There-
do those mean?
There were orange. That is correct. There were orange when
Neon
when
orange and
when-
another orange.
this is unfortunate. When supply ran out of yellow stickers, the decision was made to start printing orange ones. We put a stop to it as soon as we learned about it because it is confusing. Those stickers are yellow and okay, yeah. We put a stop to the orange stickers because it was confusing. It is confusing, and we apologize. We have rectified it. We have rectified it as quickly as possible, and those stickers should be red, yellow, and green. And the process here has been complicated, but we have done it in a grid fashion to be as thorough as possible, and we will get to every house.
I understand that. I was at a community meeting this morning, and some residents feel that those don't mean anything, and they were not put up by the city.
Okay.
That's the order.
That is what maybe some residents are feeling.
Yeah.
We've done what we're working on right now. Let me just say this on the stickers. We are putting them out there to be purely informational. It is our job and our duty to inform residents how structurally sound and unsound these buildings are. We're doing that assessment to make sure that we're doing our best to protect community members, to disconnect power when there is a threat of fire, when power is restored, and to number 3, do our due diligence in enumerating the sheer volume of personal belongings impacted so that we can go before FEMA and get that declaration with as much firepower and as much strength and as much information as we possibly can. And those things are very important, and that's why we're doing the stickering. But we do recognize there has been some confusion. We work to rectify it. We are not going to be punishing people for going into buildings that are red. We do, however, want to arm human beings with the information they need to make the decisions, their personal decisions, to best protect themselves as they contemplate going in.
Mayor
Yes.
Spencer, we've heard reports this morning from residents that the city has actually caught people stealing bricks from collapsed homes.
Yes.
Have you heard these reports and that there were actually arrests made at the site of some of these thefts?
We do understand that some folks are taking advantage of the situation, but the reports have been limited in nature. It was my understanding that the thefts have been more related to wires and what might be perceived as copper wires. Look, our brick is phenomenal. We have arguably the best brick in the world. And so of course people are going to be taking advantage of that, and we are working to make sure that this community remains as safe as possible through this. Huge shout out to our police department and making sure that we are taking all of those concerns and those reports very seriously, and we'll work to continue to do that.
So to your knowledge, no arrests have been made
On the
of
brick
stealing
front,
bricks?
I'll have to let the chief speak on that.
Thank you.
We've had more wire thefts reports. We've had 6 incidents since we've had the tornado come through. We've made about 10 arrests, multiple arrests. We made 2 incidents last night where we were able to arrest 4 people for wire theft last night. They're preferring charges right now at the circuit attorney's office. But when it comes to the bricks, we got to be able to differentiate whether it's cleanup or people are actually taking the bricks. So right now, if you have any information that people are stealing bricks, please, anybody call SLMPD, because right now this is the first I'm hearing about people stealing bricks. If they are, we'll address that issue as well.
Mayor, you've talked several times about false information on social media. Can you give us an example of some of that wrong information that's being spread on social media?
Thank you for that question, Elliot. I think you are reading the mind of Mitch McCoy here, who mentioned the same thing. Look, there's a lot of misinformation out here. It's very rampant, and frankly, it's very dangerous. And so we are encouraging folks to follow the official city website, the official city social media accounts, to make sure that you're getting accurate and most up-to-date information to dispel as much of that. We're doing our best to get flyers out in the community. We know that not everyone has access to websites and social media, and that's why those flyers are so important. We're dating them to make sure that we are addressing those as quickly and as thoroughly as possible.
Do you have some examples of that
This,
false information?
the misinformation, related to the stickers, clarifying whether or not people are being evicted by the city, that sort of thing. We want to make sure we're dispelling as many myths as possible and getting information out there as thoroughly and as accurately as we can.
On a healthcare front, are we working with our healthcare partners to go out into the community and talk to people who may be scared if they come forward about being uninsured?
This is a huge component of the next wave as we work to partner with those types of organizations. We have put together an enormous team that is working to deploy those exact types of resources, not only the physical health, but we know this has taken an enormous mental toll on our community, and we'll be working to deploy those resources in the coming days and weeks ahead.
So right now, we don't know when citizens are going to actually get help. The citizens who are worried about their homes, obviously, we don't know when help is going.
Well, Elliot, let's take a step back. We first have been working very, very diligently to make sure residents have the tools they need to stabilize and protect their belongings. That's why over just across the street, you see the Urban League having all sorts of resources. The building, food, other resources have been available at Urban League and other major spots. And we have been working very hard to make sure that those resources are replenished, identified when we're running low, and we're working with partners to make sure that we have tarps in the community, PPE, and all sorts of real resources. As far as other things associated with insurance and other pieces, we are waiting to go through the full process of unlocking federal funds. That is not an enormously quick turnaround, but I can tell you we are on track. We are well within what is a normal response. In fact, we have been doing an enormous amount. That's where our focus has been, because we know we've got to get those larger funding sources unlocked, available as soon as possible, if they are possible, and we are marching toward that with every effort that we can possibly muster towards it. Anybody else?
Is the curfew still in place, and who makes the determination when it's over?
The curfew is still in place. It goes from 9 p.m. until 6 a.m. That is a determination that we are making in collaboration with the St. Louis Police Department and our partners in the emergency response system. Nobody's making it unilaterally. We're making it in conjunction with each other. And that just really speaks to the collaboration, the coordination that our partners are putting together to make sure that we are working together to not only identify needs, to keep the neighborhoods, the community safe, and to make those resources available in a constructed, coordinated manner as soon as possible.
All right, guys. Rasmus will be sending out additional communication to all of you guys related to the next update and when it's going to come. I just want to echo the mayor. Make sure you're following the city's social media accounts, City of St. Louis, the fire department, the police department, SEMA. That is the best way to get factual information. And right now, those who are taking advantage and just doing that for clickbait, you should be ashamed of yourself for spreading misinformation. Thank you, guys.
Congressman Bell, thank you for taking your time out today to come to St. Louis and check on the constituents. Have you spoken with the president of